I mean, taking a step back, I mean, dude, like back in November, I know you were on the early stages working on your project HEX, and we were kind of watching the early stages of DeFi kind of take off. I don't think people really even knew what DeFi was at that time. And, we were kind of, I think we kind of looked crazy when we were shouting through the roof that we had gone through the wake up call on Ethereum. We kind of shifted our opinions from being kind of more like on Bitcoin focused to what was going on DeFi. So
It's
on Ethereum.
like,
So I'm just,
I mean, we were doing this stuff before anybody else. Like a lot of people say Hex kicked off the market because we were like the biggest thing in DeFi is Uniswap by far. The most liquid Ethereum USD pair in the world is on Uniswap. There's over $1 billion or $2 billion of, I think there's at least $1 billion of Ethereum sitting in Uniswap. It's 3% of all Ethereum is in Uniswap. Hex was 40% of their volume and like number 1 to number 3 for months on that platform. Hex popularized that platform. Nobody else was there. We made it popular. And then, it's funny, like people talk shit about Hex and then all of their other projects just die. So the dead bodies float by us in the river. We're like, oh, you were saying nice things about that project. Exit scammed. Oh, you were saying nice thing about that project. Hacked. Like think about all the hacks since Hex has been launched. BitMEX founders in jail. 2 are on the run. 1 has been put in jail and then got out on bail.
really.
OKX, no withdrawals for a week now. Founder, jail. Not sure what kind of custody he's in, but I imagine it's some form that's not that great, or he would let everyone get their withdrawals, right?
Yeah.
Binance hacked 50 million, 40 million, something like that. Said they were going to roll back the chain. And then promotes this exit scam crap on his like sidechain BSC or whatever it's called. They've got like their fake versions of Uniswap that then they go ahead and get exit scammed. Yams went to 0. Sushi went almost to 0. You're just like, how, all of KuCoin hacked 250 million. I go down the list and I'm like, hey guys, Ravencoin inflation bug, minted an extra 5%, sold it on exchange. Hi guys, Hex 100% uptime. Everything's going perfect. You guys are all failures. You've all failed, all of you. You're all less.
To build on that, Richard, I want to kind of like summarize, that difference, because I was kind of hitting on the fact, we last chatted in November. We've messaged back and forth a little bit, but I got to tell you, man, the one thing that kind of like, there's 2 things that have hit me, right? So the first one here is obviously DeFi has grown as a topic. A lot more people are actually starting to see the potential of it. It used to be really kind of like, just about a year ago, we were kind of nutcases for believing in it. I've been talking about Kyber Network in 2017, using Compound and Uniswap back in 2018 and 2019, and even toyed around with some of the margin trading platforms like DYDX and Fulcrum. And basically, it was like, wow, this stuff's really cool. And at the same time, there wasn't much liquidity. There wasn't much kind of market validation. And now we've gotten to this point, man, where, I mean, you saw CZ tweet out himself, like,
they're scared.
Basically, they're scared, man, that they have to list this stuff. Yeah. And I wouldn't even be railing on CZ or like Binance as a company or Coinbase, but they have to list this stuff. That's where the trading volume is.
They could just fucking die. Like, so, I mean, it's very simple. Cryptocurrency was invented to get rid of middleman. Cryptocurrency was invented to put you in control of your finances. If you are sending selfies to somebody, you're a bitch. They will make you beg for your money. They will lose your security. They will get hacked. You will lose your money. The crypto is designed to get rid of those middlemen. Exchanges are middlemen. And by the way, where does everyone lose their money? They buy shitcoins that go to 0, or they margin trade. And how do those exchanges and coin ranking sites make all of their money? On people getting wrecked margin trading and on people getting wrecked exchanging into shitcoins. They need you to get in and out of coins to get volume to make fees. They need you to get in and out of trades to make volume to get fees. So when you see rich exchange founders, they're rich because they jacked their customers. Now, there is one exception. The one exception is regulatory arbitrage. We do need people that have bank accounts that can onboard people from the fiat world into the crypto world. We do need that because the governments don't play fair. They don't just let you sell your crypto like you would sell an umbrella. They make you get all these licenses and shit. Because of that, some exchanges do have utility. And so when people say, hey, I want to buy in, I refer them to Bitstamp. The reason I refer them to Bitstamp is because they don't have margin trading and they have minimal shit coins. And so the people that I send there are less likely to get destroyed. But if I send them to other platforms, they're shoving margin trading down your throat, and they're shoving shitcoins down your throat. And who does that harm? Those people that are on the other sides of the trades. Like, it's not good for those people.
Yeah.
How many people have outperformed buying and holding Bitcoin? Nobody. I mean, now altcoins now, but like in general, if you try and trade and outperform like just Bitcoin's natural 1.3 million X that it's up now, you're not going to beat it.
Yeah, I think that the thing that Richard, I wanted to just take some time to talk about as like a secondary point is obviously people are taking it, obviously a lot more serious now. It's kind of a change on the overall industry. It's not just some kind of thought experiment or a bunch of guys who are just sitting in their basement, contextualizing what's going to be the new world of DeFi. The thing that like really irritates me, man, is like there is some parts of DeFi and stuff that have gotten me really upset, and a lot of that has been kind of the craze around like yield farming, and obviously there's the kind of the buzz around NFTs now. And I'll tell you, man, there is a lot of noise, and it's the same kind of people in the industry that I've seen who have for the last few years catching every single new wave and trend. And the thing that really irritates me, man, is like we have, for example, with like DigiFox, like we wanted to kind of build a hybrid between centralized and also decentralized services to at least provide as much utility as possible until DeFi.
Well, when you were starting out, the only way that you could provide, so he started an app called DigiFox that helps people get yield. It's basically the same business model or similar business model to HEX. So basically in HEX, the yield is paid through inflation and through penalties. In his system, the yield is paid by people borrowing it to short, basically, or sell, which is shorting. So, like, in his system, you guys, I think you still send most of your traffic to block.fi, maybe, or?
Oh, so we don't do BlockFi. So we do Celsius and Compounds. And just to clarify on that, Richard, that's a good point. There is borrowers on the other side versus something like HEX, which is based on staking. But the biggest thing here is that actually the biggest borrowers right now that have actually been able to drive up the interest rates that are existent right now in the stablecoin market are mainly exchanges, to my knowledge. But there are a lot of people as well who are taking short positions. That's why, for example, the borrowing rate on a lot of altcoins that were overextended during the DeFi craze at a pretty high yield. So
the thing that worries, so like when we talk about the problem with, so this is the summary there is that we both built something that tries to get people yield on their money. Much of DeFi is fake. Much of it is entirely centralized. There's a guy, I can't remember his name right now, but he's always laying into these people that are centralized entities where there's huge risk. And he's the only guy doing it.
Oh, Chris
Black.
Chris Black. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So, I support him doing that, and I have done that myself. And people don't realize the tail end risk of everything disappearing at once. So if you had your money on Quadriga CX in Canada, it disappeared at once. If you had your money on Cryptopia in New Zealand, it disappeared at once. If you had your money on OKX, you ain't getting it. Maybe you'll get it, but right now, for the last week, you're not getting it. So, there's this tail end risk of everything's great, and then rug pull, exit scam, jail, bug, whatever the fuck it hits, and you can reduce the chance of that happening. Right? So HEX was delayed about a year because we took security very seriously, and we got 2 security audits, and it took time to do security right. Everyone else is getting the shit exit scammed out of them. Andre Cronje launches a new fucking coin. People FOMO into it, EVM or EVN or whatever, Eminence, EVN, I guess. X goes to zero, bugged.
Yeah, that's something I would say.
Why are you doing that?
Yeah, Richard, I think to build on that, again, that's the kind of narrative shift that I'm really getting tired of in this space. And again, not really singling out Andre in this case, but this whole narrative of let's just deploy something on mainnet.
Move fast and break things with finance. Yeah. No, you will lose everyone's money. You will lose everyone's money. How many times do you have to see everyone lose all their money? Stop doing that. Yeah. So there are audited, Uniswap is audited out the ass. HEX is audited out the ass. You can, there are things that have been around Logger that are battle tested that don't have vulnerabilities. Use those things. Stop getting exit scammed and being a degenerate gambler and buying any ticker symbol that comes out and then thinking you're rich for 20 minutes and then watching that shit go to zero.